A short video showed a Chinese version of satellite navigation software used by car owners. When the car owner was about to merge onto the highway with no village in front and no store behind and was in a hurry, the software didn't know what to do. It suddenly suggested getting off and asking for directions. The car owner's voice of helplessness was heard instantly. There is also a piece of news that says on the Chinese navigation software map, the Xi'an Lake Road in Hefei, Anhui, was inexplicably changed to the destination ahead is Huangquan Road. Similar jokes about China's navigation system are endless. Why does China's navigation system lead people astray? Is it trying to align with the Central Party? Huawei's Mate 50, after introducing satellite communication capabilities, has seen a surge in propaganda about China's Beidou satellite, claiming that the CCP's Beidou satellite is the most numerous, surpassing the US GPS by 30%. China's map data, like the map that directed to Huangquan Road, has already surpassed GPS and dominates all aspects of Chinese navigation applications. Since they are better than others, they are cautious not to let the US steal our technology. Data liberation or control. Xi Jinping's contradictory move. In a move reflective of heightened concerns over national security, Xi Jinping has taken personal charge of overseeing the Chinese Ministry of State Security's rigorous efforts to stem the outward flow of China's geographical and meteorological data. The focus is not only on preventing data from reaching foreign shores but also on conducting thorough security investigations into any information streaming beyond China's borders, deeming such data a matter of critical national security. The directive is clear: Huangquan Road is off-limits to Americans, and confidentiality is paramount. This road is exclusively for domestic use. Since the Ministry of State Security's integration into WeChat public accounts this summer, a surge in activity has been observed. This intelligence agency, aptly described as a pre-manufacturing spy and arrest agency, has become notably proactive. Regular self-praise, boasting of their contributions to national security, includes providing guidelines to elementary school students on which photos should not be shared on social media. In a surprising turn, they engage in challenges with the US CIA, highlighting their progress in thwarting American intelligence networks. However, the strategic blunder in underestimating CIA Director Burns' calculated provocations is evident. Amidst this intelligence drama, the core question emerges: what exactly should be safeguarded, and what should be shared? In an era dominated by data-driven economic growth, refusal to participate in data sharing translates to a refusal of progress. By isolating China from global data sharing norms, especially concerning public data, the nation risks undermining its role in global civilization. The lessons from the pandemic's past 3 years, where concealing public health data exacerbated global harm, should not be ignored. China's handling of the pandemic has left it with the longest duration and the most profound social damage globally, with real death data yet to be disclosed. While some argue that data involving privacy and ethically sensitive information should be safeguarded, the Chinese government's actions suggest a stark contrast. Surveillance cameras equipped with facial recognition systems line every intersection, infringing on personal privacy openly. On the streets, authorities can brazenly seize phones, access personal information, mandate the removal of CCP unapproved software, and even encourage family members to report on one another, eroding social trust and moral values. In a contradictory move, just last month, Xi Jinping proposed easing stringent regulations on the overseas flow of data to retain fleeing foreign capital. However, the swift response from the Ministry of State Security underscores the complex interplay between national security concerns and economic policy. CCP's attempt to silence air quality data sparks international debate. Geographical and meteorological data are classified as state secrets, not to be disclosed. Foreigners have no right to know that it's pouring rain in China these days. The U.S. Embassy has an air quality detector used to measure the PM2.5 particulate matter at the embassy in the Xi'an district. Particulate pollutants are associated with significant health impacts, especially for adults, children, and the elderly with heart or lung diseases. This monitoring method is a standard resource for U.S. community health. U.S. embassies worldwide conduct such tests. Such public data collection is not only a health protection measure for U.S. personnel working in China but also crucial for the health environment reference for the local population. However, it turns out that only in China, in 2012, this evolved into a diplomatic incident insulting the feelings of the Chinese people. In a recent episode that unfolded on the digital stage, the U.S. Embassy in China, utilizing its Twitter platform, decided to release crucial air quality data. The motive was clear: to foster awareness among the citizens of Beijing about the state of the air they breathe. However, this seemingly innocuous act sparked a stern response from the Chinese Communist Party, demanding that foreign governments cease the publication of air quality information. The rationale provided was that such activities were incongruent with diplomatic spirit. The CCP's assertion doesn't merely pivot on a variance in air quality standards between China and other nations, rather, it resonates with a deeper implication. The underlying tone seems to suggest a narrative akin to China's democracy is distinct from the rest of the world, employing the CCP's subjective preferences rather than objective metrics. This ideological stance becomes more conspicuous when one considers the paradox: the same polluted air poses a threat to foreigners, yet when inhaled by Chinese citizens, it supposedly mirrors the rejuvenating touch of a spring breeze, enhancing health and vitality with each breath. The crux lies not in the perils of unclean air or the risk of falling ill, but in the CCP's aversion to external acknowledgement of any ailment. This incident sheds light on the prevailing mindset among the Chinese populace, one that has seemingly embraced the CCP's narrative. The unspoken agreement is that it is permissible to endure the consequences internally but impermissible for the world to bear witness to China's vulnerabilities. However, a curious contrast arises as we shift our focus to the South China Sea, where the narrative takes an unexpected turn. Despite the fervent efforts of the denouncers of American imperialism in Xi'an district, who spared no effort to criticize on the streets, the reality remains unchanged. Lungs continue to laboriously inhale the dust and haze flagged by American imperialists. This incongruity highlights the irony that persists within the narrative, a rhetoric that boasts of fresh air machines amid an environment mired in contradictions. Recalling the smog crisis that gripped Beijing in 2012, foreign embassies and research institutions in China emerged as pivotal players. Collecting meteorological data became a cornerstone for foreign countries seeking to comprehend China's situation and urging the CCP to take decisive pollution control measures. In the face of recurring climate-related disasters, such as the recent floods, the significance of this cross-border exchange of environmental data has only grown more pronounced. Data distrust, state security's skepticism over meteorological stations. Now, it's different. The Ministry of State Security of the CCP has simply labeled these meteorological stations as illegal and claimed that there are more than 3,000 illegal foreign-related meteorological facilities sending messages overseas. Some of these are located in military bases and industrial enterprises, and some are deployed in major grain-producing areas, correlating with the analysis of crop growth and grain production. Additionally, an article released by the Ministry of State Security on December 10 claimed that the software used in important industries is collecting geographical information data and sending it overseas. Some of this information includes state secrets, and the article mentions the pipeline network and military facilities. These software applications involve precision agriculture, energy and power, smart connected vehicles, as well as daily express delivery, online shopping, takeaway delivery, and housekeeping services. The Ministry of State Security's article did not mention any Chinese institutions or individuals, nor did it mention the names of any foreign entities or countries. It simply stated that CCP security officials are investigating and dealing with related illegal activities and cracking down on illegal foreign-related meteorological testing stations. However, these are enough to cause concerns for foreign companies. Once again, accidentally stepping on a landmine. I see, even weather forecasts with public data are considered crimes now. This reminds me of the crisis storm that Didi Chuxing faced in July 2021 when it was listed on the New York Stock Exchange. This is within the 7 years before 2021, the largest scale IPO of Chinese companies in the United States. However, despite such significant news, instead of ringing the bell, within 48 hours of going public, the Chinese regulatory authorities announced a cybersecurity review of Didi. The stock price, which had a promising opening performance, plummeted in response. Another 48 hours later, Chinese regulators escalated the situation further by demanding the removal of Didi's app, halting new user registrations. In the end, Didi's market value was wiped out by over 80%. In May of the previous year, Didi announced its delisting from the New York Stock Exchange. To add to the downfall, they were also fined $1.2 billion, citing violations that jeopardized national security. We know that, politically, this involves privileged families of the Chinese Communist Party exploiting their respective powers, manipulating domestic review processes, and unevenly distributing the gains. This is the larger context. However, at that time, there was a technical detail that could trigger everyone's memory. It is rumored that, in order to go public overseas, Didi bundled China's road and user data and handed it over to the United States. Although Didi's Vice President Li Min claimed these rumors were malicious rumors and that domestic user data is stored on domestic servers, he did not mention road data or geographical data. Rumors circulated that Didi had bundled China's road data and handed it to Apple, which then passed it on to the US military. Perhaps this was the reason why Xi Jinping cracked down on Didi. Looking back now, the National Security Bureau's article on not leaking meteorological and geographical data actually exposes their concerns. They fear what? They are concerned that, amid the current national economic crisis, social crisis, and even a crisis in governance, the true situation in China could be revealed. They worry that people will bypass the long-distrusted Statistics Bureau of the Chinese Communist Party and rely on precise first-hand data from around the world to reflect China's current dire situation. China's mysterious meteorological bases. These illegal meteorological facilities are located on military bases, which in itself is bizarre. You can understand why it sounds strange. How can a foreigner go to a Chinese military base to set up a weather station? Your suspicion is correct. These weather stations are actually installed by Chinese scientists themselves, and they are set up according to the requirements of the top echelons of the Chinese Communist Party. How come? These automatic weather stations are widely used in the commercial sector, especially in agriculture and atmospheric physics monitoring. This is part of the International Greenhouse Gas Climate Agreement that the Chinese government voluntarily joined, becoming part of global weather observation. Connecting these automatically observed data to the internet, where China can see the world and the world can see China. Why is China worried now? Because industrial enterprises are burning less coal and oil, is it? The weather is clear, but now there's a problem, isn't there? How much less does it mean that China's production output has decreased? This is also an important component of the Li Keqiang Index invented by the former Premier Li Keqiang. One of its components is precisely to assess economic vitality through electricity consumption by enterprises. As a prime minister, one must guard against the Statistical Bureau's false numbers. Electricity generation, coal-fired and oil-fired electricity, just look at them, and the climate can reveal a lot. In addition, climate analysis is crucial for assessing grain production in major grain-producing regions. Considering the Chinese Communist Party's ambitious mentality, if there's a bumper harvest, they would want foreigners to know quickly, to know it all. That would be the great merit of the Chinese Communist Party in solving the world's one-quarter population's food problem. Therefore, it is certain that in the absence of a bumper harvest, and even when China's food production is in a critical situation, it becomes a matter of national security that cannot be disclosed to foreigners. As for geographical data, this data, the information about the delivery routes used by food delivery drivers, cannot be given to foreigners either. The only explanation is the lessons learned from the Russia-Ukraine war. Big data and AI-driven delivery routes and what goods are determined by whom are preparations for future precision strikes and decapitation operations. It seems that the idea of the Chinese Communist Party launching a war is there. The National Security Bureau has indeed become Xi Jinping's secret service, and his presence is seen everywhere. He manages everything. Economic situation in China, challenges that the Chinese Communist Party cannot conceal. Consumer prices and factory costs have been consistently declining throughout 2023, never surpassing the levels from January this year when the pandemic was fully under control. So much for the CCP's hope that ending pandemic control would stimulate domestic demand and drive overall economic development. It didn't happen. The Chinese government has faced extensive criticism for its stringent censorship, truth suppression, and manipulation of statistics, making it challenging for the international community to grasp the true situation in China. Nevertheless, 3 observable trends have emerged that reveal the current economic challenges faced by China, and these are beyond the Chinese regime's ability to conceal. Firstly, a significant number of affluent Chinese individuals are opting to leave the country due to dwindling confidence in the short-term recovery of the Chinese economy and the policies implemented by the Chinese Communist Party. Despite Beijing's efforts, it has been unable to stem this large-scale immigration, and insiders continue to disclose such information, ensuring global awareness. Secondly, numerous Chinese companies have declared extended Lunar New Year breaks due to a lack of orders. This move not only hampers the Chinese regime's ability to prevent workers from sharing information with the media but also underscores the challenging economic conditions. Thirdly, a widespread closure of stores due to sluggish business is indicative of the economic difficulties faced by China. This large-scale phenomenon, known to many insiders and the public, forces the Chinese regime to passively witness the dissemination of information about these closures in the media, unable to prevent it.